My name is Herman Kumara and I am from Sri Lanka. I am working with small scale artisanal fisher people, fish workers in the multi-day fishery boats, fisher women and youth, organizing fisher people, fisher communities in an organization called National Fisheries Solidarity Movement. We call it NAFSO. NAFSO is working with World Forum of Fisher Peoples as a member organization. We call it WFFP, and WFFP is the political organ of the small scale artisanal fishers in the world. Globally, we are working with various fisheries organizations, agricultural organizations, peasant organizations to ensure the food sovereignty. And we all are fighting together against this corporate interest, globalization, and also the people who are grab our land, our water, our resources, our life, and we are fighting collectively to ensure the food sovereignty. My organization NAFSO is working with small scale fishers, the artisanal small scale fishers, the fisher women, fish workers in the deep sea fishery boats, also the youth in fishing communities, and as well as the displaced communities from the coastal areas due to war, and also the women, those who are lost their husbands during the war, and many type of oppressed groups. One of the most oppressed groups in my country is the landless people, the displaced people, the oppressed, most oppressed ones, because they don't have any land for their livelihoods, for their shelter, for their life. Because most of the people, those who are living or depending on the land, they lost their land. One of the very clear understanding, very clear example is that the Panama people who lost their land during the war, even after war is over, almost now 7 years, people are still displaced. They do not have any place to stay. They just living in their relatives' places, and the land, because of this situation, people struggle against this evils, this oppression, and they were able to fight and change their own local government body. At the same time, they work hard to change the national government, and they were succeeded. At the same time, the government listened to their voice. In 2015 February, the government decided to release the land back to the people, but the militarization is so high and so oppressed, and the land is still under military, and the military is not respecting to the government, the cabinet decision, and this continues. So this is very clear oppression of the people's situations in my country, in Sri Lanka, because the national laws is not really heard by the respected by the military, and they are trying to keep the land in their hands in the name of security. So the people struggling, and they were able to go to the courts, they were able to fight, and they were able to resist, and they were able to get the land and through the government, the court order. But still, the military is not respecting those orders. So that is something we should clearly understood. In this context, the voluntary guidelines on tenure guidelines, we need to respect the customary rights of the people. When there is a project going on, it should be considered, or it should be consulted the people who are depending on those resources like land, forest or water. In Panama people, they lost their land, they lost their water body, they lost their access to the water, and they are just displaced. So in tenure guideline, it says how the displaced communities should be replaced, and how any project implement, how it should be get the free, prior, informed consent, but it's not happening so. At the same time, the TENURE guideline says how to respect the customary laws, the customary rights of the people, the traditions of the people. Those are totally neglected in this context. So, the Panama people are very much engaged in the struggle. They want to get the land back, they are fighting, and we as the advocates of the people's rights, we educate people, we educate Panama people and empower them to fight with the forces, fight with the legal systems, fight with the authorities to get their rights back based on the TENURE guidelines. In Sri Lankan case, we are not respected by main law, the customary traditional systems of the people. So, in TENURE guideline it says that the people's customary traditional rights should be respected. So, what we think, the people, those who do not have any land, any land deeds, the legal documents. So, those land deeds, those lands, the water bodies could be asserted or they could be reclaimed, their rights, their ownership based on the customary rights, customary laws. If we can legalize this thing into mainstream constitutional reforms, mainstream constitutional changes. So, what we think, that type of legal backing by the VGGT, the TENURE guidelines, could be used to ensure the rights of those people, those do not have any legal rights, legal document or deed or whatever, people who are depending on those natural resources. So, we think this could be very good opportunity for us to voice out, to organize, to unite and fight to get the customary rights of our people through the TENURE guideline. That is very clear example that this could be helpful for our people, because the fisher people, those who are living in those lands or the islands or many places in the country, they do not have any type of legal ownership. So, if the government take this positively and enforce, ensure, establish new laws, new regulations based on this, could be a very, very advanced position for our people to claim their rights. So, that is one area that we think that we can use TENURE guidelines to ensure our rights and use this as a tool to advocate their rights. When we see the TENURE guidelines, it says about fisheries, it says about land, it says about forests. In TENURE guidelines on let us say the voluntary guidelines on SSF, it also ensure the rights of the fisher people, ensure some of the main understanding, main logic behind the TENURE guidelines to ensure the food security, ensure the nutrition security, and also ensure the job security, let us say the employment generation and so on. So, in present context, in the globalized world, we can see day by day the fisher people are losing their land, losing their water, losing their basic livelihood rights. So, both the guidelines, it says how to ensure the small food producers, those who are living, those who are depending on the natural resources could be ensured. So, those are the things that we could take into account and fight and use as legal, let us say political documents, political base for us to fight. So, in that context, we think that these are lot of similarities in both the cases about climate change. It is about disasters, how to resettle the disaster affected communities, how to ensure equity, how to ensure human rights of food producers. So, all these are the basic principles of both the documents, both the guidelines. So, we think these both are complement each other and strengthen the struggles, strengthen our movements, because the members in our movements, the leaders in our movements, when they take into their own hand about these type of legal document, though they are soft laws, they can argue, they can articulate their rights, they can based on these things, they can demand from the government what they exactly want, because day by day we can see their rights, their livelihood and their life is moving behind or vanishing. So, we can use this as a basis to fight forward, I mean fight to claim our rights. So, these are the similarities that what we see in both the documents.